African Oriental Store Africa fii si biir America ñu ngi leen fi amal seasoning ak lépp loo leen nama biir Gambia diwtiir ak bagaasi ndekki yi ngeen soxla canned beef African Oriental Store andil na leen ko si seen heavy boti ba tey it amal nañ leen netetu gerte noflaay yéet ndawal African Oriental Store nag mooy bitik bi nga xam ne lépp loo leen soxla mi ngi si biir amal nañ leen maalo leket tame inde andi cuuraay waaye it fàttewuñ suñ góor yi nga xam ne ni den tële seen néegi sëy yi African Oriental Store indi na leen garab goo xam ne ni dina leen delloo seen kàttan ba tey it ñu ngi leen amal abaya dàll abaya boo munti xalaat bu jigéen ñu ngi ko fi am waaye it fàttewuñ góor ñi amal nañ leen xaftaan ñi amal nañ toobaan cuuraay African Oriental Store nag bagage yi nii fépp foo nekk si biir Canada bi ak US di nga ko mun a am ndaxte ñu ngi leen amal shipping African Oriental Store Africa si America fii si Everett Washington njaaxare jeex na.
On behalf of the Governing Council and on my own behalf, to welcome you to this press briefing. As you know, like what Fofana said, following yesterday's windstorm, which was really serious, because the windstorm was at a speed of estimated to be at 85 kilometers per hour. I think this is, in 5 years, this is the first time that Gambia is experiencing this kind of windstorm. And it has caused considerable damage to life and livelihood. As of now, we lost, there is 10 fatality. Any soul that's lost as a result of disaster is a big loss to the nation. And when that happened this morning, the head of state, being the President of the Republic of the Gambia, called for an emergency meeting. We are all aware that in any disaster, the government bears the primary duty bearer. So the welfare of the citizens of this country, the government is not taking it lightly. This was why the President called for an emergency meeting this morning so that we can brief him, so that the government can take its rightful position. The partners are here. They can come and complement and supplement government's effort. But at the end of the day, government is the primary duty bearer. As we are speaking, 3,140 people have already been affected. There is 10 fatalities and 1,531 internally displaced. This is very, 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 very serious. As the assessment is ongoing, because the assessment is not an event, it's a process. Before government can determine in the kind of response that the government would provide, they must have a credible and dependable data, because that's the nerve center of any response when it comes to emergency support. You rely on data, and the data has to be credible, reliable, and dependable. It is on this background that the government is actually waiting for us as an emergency institution and the partner to provide the government with the right data so that they can come up with a response that will need and will reflect the needs of the population. This is why we are here today. With us, we have the executive, we have the Secretary General Gambia Red Cross here with us. He is a very close and dependable partner. We also have Action Against Hunger, Avulavi, who is also, we are working very, very closely. In addition, we have Mr. Adam representing the World Food Program. We all know that World Food Program, Red Cross, and Action Against Hunger are dependable partners of National Disaster Management Agency. The agency and the government being the primary duty bearer, the stakeholders are here to supplement and complement government's effort. We are actually in the driving seat so that the other partners can come and supplement our effort. In a nutshell, this is why we are here today, so that we brief the press and know this is the government's position and give you an overview of what's happening. North Bank is hardly hit as we are speaking now, because we recorded about 9 deaths in North Bank and West Coast 1 death. So you can see when we always we also look at the underlying factor of why so much damage. We have always been advocating for tree planting, which would serve as a windbreak that will at least reduce the impact of disaster when it comes to windstorm. So in a nutshell, Mr. Senghor, this is why we are here today. And then the government is waiting for the outcome of the report so that the government can take its rightful position. This was why the president himself called me this morning and summoned for an emergency meeting to determine what the government will be able to provide. To strengthen the response capacity of Ndma, the president has already donated 3 pickups to Ndma this morning, just to strengthen our capacity. Because we cannot collect all this data if we are not mobile, if we don't have the right mobility to do it. In addition to that, he also donated another six motorcycles just to strengthen the response capacity of the institution. The governing council, the PS local government is also here. The reason why the PS is here, because all this disaster affects a community, and this community belongs to local government. This is why the PS is also here to witness the press conference. So I thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you.
It's a very unfortunate incident. We're witnessing increased frequency in extreme weather events like yesterday's. And this is evidence that climate change is a real phenomenon, and it highlights the importance of government's ongoing efforts to mainstream climate change adaptation in our national disaster risk management. As a result of climate change, we are globally witnessing extreme weather events such as yesterday's, and such events are global, and it includes increased temperatures, increased storms, unpredictable rainfall patterns, and etc. Unfortunately, it's the poor and vulnerable that are affected the most. Climate change exacerbates our vulnerabilities. At a time like this, we're appealing to all stakeholders. As the Executive Director mentioned, it's primarily government's role, but times like this, we call on our stakeholders and partners, local and international. We have to work together to close the adaptation gap to adaptation funding gap and resilience. We have to mobilize efforts and resources to assist the most vulnerable. These partners, all stakeholders include government, international and local partners, and all Gambians, all patriotic Gambians. I mean, we should all come on board and help each other. I would want to say that I am personally going to pledge $10,000 towards the victims. I appeal to everybody to come on board and help. This is not the time to apportion responsibilities. This is a national responsibility for all of us. And government is doing all it can to try to exacerbate this, but we cannot do it alone. Please come on board and let's help each other as Gambians. Thank you very much.
Director, WFP rep, against Action Against Hunger, my dear sister, PS, Minister of Local Government, staff of Ndma, colleagues from the Red Cross, the media houses. I would like to first and foremost to extend our sincere condolences to the families of the bereaved, the 10 people that have lost their lives during the stormy weather that struck the country during the past hours. As highlighted by the Executive Director, this is first and foremost the government's primary duty and responsibility to respond to the humanitarian needs of its population. As Red Cross, just as a reminder, we were created by an act of parliament as an auxiliary to the government in terms of complementing the government efforts both in humanitarian and development fields. And this is what we have been trying to do. Now, I'm really privileged to be here this afternoon to brief you on some of the actions that we have taken to complement the efforts of the government through the partnership with the Ndma. Now, I want to take us back to last week. I think many people sitting around the table here know that, yes, the events of last night was more disastrous, but I think the event started last Friday around 1800 hours when the first windstorm, heavy windstorm, went across from URR all the way to LRR and destroyed several houses, although lives were not lost at the time, but there were people who were wounded, taken to hospital. What we did from the outset, because we have, together with the Ndma before the rainy season, worked out a strategy to enable us to respond adequately. What we did as Red Cross was basically to review our standard operating procedures. In the past, our response time used to be 48 hours or at least 24 hours. Now, this time around, we said we're going to close that gap so that our response time would be in the first few hours of the disaster. So we have been responding since Saturday last week together with the Ndma and the other partners under their leadership in URR, CRR, and LRR. So we have teams that have been sent out. Now, as he rightly put it, the chair of the ceremony, we have been doing this business, and it's our core business. So one of the things that we have developed is, whilst we assess, we also respond with some life-saving material that would help the families. And this Ndma was very helpful in working with us in that. So we have been distributing as we went along some non-food items, which include blankets and mats and hygiene kits and other items, so that families who are hosted or housed by other community members would have adequate bedding to house them. Now, as he rightly said, data is being collected, and it's increasing by the hour. So this is not the normal windstorm that we used to have, and that's what I would like to reiterate here, that this is not the normal one. And secondly, even if we are going to respond, we need to take into consideration some of the critical things in terms of the disaster management continuum process, where we look at the immediate needs, the recovery phase, but also looking at ahead in terms of how our development practices can factor in strengthening the resilience of the community, so that even if we have bigger and stronger windstorms tomorrow or next year, or may God forbid, their houses would be able to withstand that disaster. So that brings me to the appeal that was made here, that we really need everyone to come together. It's not just about giving handouts to communities, but working with our communities to lift them from the disaster, but at the same time to strengthen their resilience, to build their resilience, both in terms of the shelter, but also as communities as well. So therefore, the support that we are looking for is both short-term, medium, and in the long term. And this is the time, as the executive director said, for us Gambians to come together. And we can do it. We have seen it happen during COVID, that Gambians came together and supported Gambians. And this is where it starts. Some of us, our institutions will be able to mobilize resources externally. And we can get partners like the UN system to support. But I think charity begins at home. We have to start locally to support our people. So the needs are huge. We therefore need people to come together and work together in alleviating the suffering of this. So I would like to once again say thank you, Mr. Dahaba, for your leadership, and thank the government of the Gambia. And there's no time, so we need to move. And for us, whilst we assess, we have to move and provide some life-saving support to the community. So I thank you very much.
Yeah, are you from URR?
No way.
Okay, there is no fatality in URR. Actually, the report that we received from last night to this morning was that most of these people died as a result of one, trees fall on their houses. The other ones, when the roof is being blown off, hit them, and then as a result of their wound, they died during the process. That's what we can confirm for now. Yes.
What about the other fatal?
Which one? Well, I just got the information. I'm yet to establish that. We sent a response team to go and investigate this under the circumstances. This one died, so they are yet to report back.
Exactly, where did he die?
Well, I said this afternoon.
Where?
Busumbala. It happens at Busumbala.
Thank you very much. I wanted to ask a question with regards to the early warning system. You did say that this is not the ordinary type of windstorm that has happened.
To begin with, when we received the JAS report actually indicates the weather forecast. It's called July, August, and September. Partners were called, and this JAS report was shared with the partners, and then a response plan was developed, and we developed the response plan at a time which coincided with this windstorm. So that's where we are now, and that we will actually strengthen and intensify our early warning effort, because the best early warning is to provide people with information. Sensitization, knowledge is the best tool for early warning. And we will make sure that we strengthen that aspect. We use the community radios. Last week, I launched the network of journalists on disaster, and these were some of the tools that are readily available to be provided to the community so that we can strengthen their resilience.
Thank you. One more question.
Disaster situation, the first thing is that you brief the government, which is our primary responsibility, and give them the overview of the disaster situation in this country, which I did. And then the president, being the primary duty bearer, is the chief CEO of the country, which is the president. So that the president also called the Minister of Finance and through Disaster Governing Council, and clearly defined government's position that there is a disaster in the country. Government is the duty bearer, and as a government, we need to work with partners so that we can strengthen the response capacity of the institution that's responsible for emergency response, and also strengthen the resilience of the communities. That's where but this will be solely and wholly informed by the outcome of the rapid assessment and also the detailed assessment. That will determine the nature of response that government is going to provide. But government has already taken responsibility, and they are working towards addressing that. I said, I think you are right. But again, information gathering is not an event. It's not one-off. It's a process. As the informations are collected, it comes to our data. This is why we are able to generate you with these figures as we are now. And this is increasing every minute. As they come, the information is processed, and this will be provided to government so that government can take a decision with the partners and respond to their need, humanitarian need. Yeah.
That's all the questions from the floor.
Sonic's Money Transfer is back again with a massive offer for its customers this Tabaski. Get ready to win one of 5 rams or one of 5 bags of 50-kilogram rice, or become one of the 10 lucky winners of $1,000 worth of cash power, or one of the 100 lucky winners of $100 credit top-up. Yes! From now till the 16th of July 2021, Send money to family and friends in the Gambia from anywhere this Tabaski with Supersonics money transfer and get the chance to win one of 5 rams or one of 5 bags of 50 kilogram rice, or become one of the 10 lucky winners of $1,000 worth of cash power, or one of the 100 lucky winners of $100 credit top up. Enjoy our safe and instant money transfer service with the lowest fee, highest rate and largest payout network in the Gambia. Hurry now and be one of the many winners in this special Tabaski promo from Supersonics Money Transfer. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer. Enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics. Supersonics.
Heavy body ba tey it amal nañ leen netetu gerte noflaay yéet ndawal African Oriental Store nag mooy bitik bi nga lépp loo leen soxla